Hey again, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So in this video, I want to do a little Mother's Day recap for you guys. This actually was suggested by one of the viewers and I thought it was a great idea. And while I didn't set up the camera while I was creating all of my Mother's Day bouquets, I thought it would be a great idea to share with you guys how I did my pre-sales, what flowers I used, and what products I sold. I thought it may be helpful to some of you who is planning a future event. Now, Mother's Day is probably one of the busiest holidays besides Valentine's Day here at the Cut Flower Garden. It's always extremely busy. Everyone is hungry for flowers in the spring and the pre-orders go over really well. So I want to share with you my complete process for that. My pre-orders I offer online through my website, and each year it has worked very, very well. So on May 2nd, I opened up my Mother's Day pre-orders on my website. And while you're thinking, that's not very far ahead of the holiday, it actually worked out perfect for me. So 9-10 days before the holiday, in my experience, people don't order weeks ahead of time for these things. They tend to be a little last minute, which is why I also offer grab and go options in the store that weekend, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I also like to wait as close to the holiday as possible so I know an approximate count of flowers I'll have harvested, which would be for tulips, and what other varieties I will have to offer in my products. Now, in previous years, my website has been powered by Wix, and that worked great. It was a really nice, simple website design where I could have one page dedicated to online ordering. Since I have opened the storefront, I have switched over to Shopify. Offering the storefront really complicates things as far as tracking inventory, products, barcodes, all of that. So for my flower pre-sales, it's been so easy to just offer a fresh flower collection on the website and direct people right to that page when I do things like this. Anyway, Mother's Day flower sales are always based around tulips, and my tulips are grown actually right out this window. I plant them in the fall, thousands of them. And so that is what I base my Mother's Day flower sales off of each year. This year, because of my hoop house, I had some other varieties to add in. Now for pre-orders online, I offered 3 different products. The first one was a basic wrapped bouquet for $25, and this was made up of just tulips. Now, the picture that I posted online was actually from last year, and so I always make sure to put in the online description colors may vary depending on availability. And this depends on every year because I'll have early varieties, late varieties, so it just depends on the harvest. That is always my top seller. Now, in addition to that, I offered 2 other products. The first one is a $45 vase arrangement, and I've offered this every single year. This is a cute vase arrangement that is made up of just tulips, more tulips than the wrapped bouquet. And this year, that vase was this cute vase. I absolutely loved it. I got these glass jars from my plant wholesaler. It was a spring offering they were emailing out, and I jumped on it. I ended up ordering 3 different kinds, 2 of which I used for Mother's Day. So this came in pink, yellow, and green, and they were absolutely adorable. Now, because I had the other jar, which is this hobnail jar, I decided to offer a 3rd pre-order item this year. I've never done it before. So I offered a mixed arrangement, and this was tulips, cress, and ranunculus. And you can see the difference in size. This one is definitely bigger, but the biggest difference is how wide the mouth is. This mouth is quite a bit wider, and you can definitely fit more flowers into this one. This was also available in pink, yellow, and green. Now, the cress that I was harvesting was out of my hoop house, and that was self-seeded from last year. And then, of course, the ranunculus was what I was growing this year, both that had wintered over and what was planted new this year. And I am really glad that I offered the $65 jar arrangement because I ended up selling way more of the $65 than the $45. So that worked out amazing. Now, Mother's Day pre-orders were cut off Wednesday of that week. I closed those items on my website, and that was so that Thursday I could start processing all of the orders and the tulips and have a firm amount of products that I would have to have available for sure for pickup Thursday late in the afternoon, but mostly Friday and Saturday. I would say a majority of the Mother's Day orders were picked up Friday. Saturday, which I will get to, was like extra grab and go orders. And on top of the Mother's Day pre-orders, all of my bouquet subscription members also were picking up their bouquets that Friday and Saturday. So there was a lot going on. Now, as far as keeping track of all of those orders, on the back end of my website, I can easily tell what orders are online orders versus what I sell out on the floor. I just go into my orders and they're all marked unfulfilled in bright yellow, so I can easily see. But I'm such a paper person, I also like to make a chart so that I can physically check things off once they're picked up. So let me flip to the page here. So this is a picture of what my bouquet subscription page looks like. I have everyone listed, and then with each week when they pick up, I just put an X in the column. So this is the page that I use that day to check everything off. Really easy. Now, as far as my Mother's Day page, this one looks a lot messier because you'll notice everything is cut off or crossed off, excuse me. But I have my $65 arrangements, my other vase arrangements, all the wrapped bouquets, and then I ended up making some extra $45 vase arrangements, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. I did this Facebook post, I think it was Thursday evening. I had already had all of my pre-orders assembled and my subscriptions assembled. And so I just put together 3 extra vase arrangements of the $45, one in each color, and I did a Facebook post. And I said, these are available. They sold, I think, within 10 minutes. So I ended up making more. Those completely sold. And so that ended up being extra sales as well. Those were all out the door, I think, on Friday. Is there a bug on my screen? Hopefully that didn't interfere with the video. Now, I spoke of the grab and go bouquets earlier. I made as many as I possibly could of the $25 wrapped bouquets, had them in the cooler, and I had a bucket stand out by the front counter, and I just kept replenishing that Friday and Saturday because people would walk in, want 1, 2, even 4 bouquets at a time, and those walked out the door. So I will put up on the screen the number that I sold of those because I don't have that calculated as I'm talking to you. But I'll put a number up on the screen of what I think I sold in just the extra grab and go bouquets. And here's a total of the total wrapped bouquets, if I added right, that I think went out the door. So it was a really, really successful Mother's Day. Now, of course, along with all the flower sales, the retail shop sold a ton for Mother's Day. So that was a really great boost in sales. And now I kind of know what to expect next year and the years moving forward. As far as anything that I would do different for next year, I don't know that I would do anything different. I'm really glad that I offered that third option. My tulip planting, and I may talk about this in a future video, I need to address that because I had some issues with the percentage of the tulips that came up this year. I didn't have the best harvest. I think maybe they were planted a little deep, maybe a couple soil issues. I may address that in a future video. I did have one particular variety that when, before the bloom opened, the blooms just kind of shriveled and dried up. It was yellow pomponette, and one of my flower friends actually came over and visited me, and she said she has had that exact same problem with yellow pomponette also. So I need to maybe read about that. I think I actually have that variety ordered for next year because I love it. So just a few things that I need to address. I know some of you are going to comment, I plant my tulips in a different spot every single year, so I know that is not the issue. So I just kind of need to figure it out. I ultimately think maybe they were planted a little too deep. I don't know. And I probably should have smoothed the soil out a little bit better. I will say that last year when I planted my tulips, I had a little bit of a problem. The tulips shipped late. We were getting some really cold weather. I ended up digging the trenches, covering them with concrete blankets to keep things thawed, then planting the tulips, then trying to cover with soil just because of the weather conditions. So I think maybe some of the soil didn't settle. They just didn't get planted very well. But anyway, I'm going to stop going on that. I may address that in a future video. But as far as how Mother's Day sales went, I am completely pleased. The only thing that I would change would maybe be trying to plant an additional crop in the hoop house to harvest for Mother's Day earlier. That's the only thing I would change. It went really great. So as far as what's next, you're going to see a video on this very soon, but I'm currently still harvesting out of the hoop house. I've got multiple plants that I'm harvesting right now and making bouquets, so watch for that video. I've also got a dahlia video coming out for you guys on the varieties. I'm planning for pumpkin season. I'm going to have that video coming out and lots of planting. Today is strong winds, rain, storms, so it's an inside day, which is why I'm filming this video. But anyway, if you guys have any additional Mother's Day questions, comment down below. I will definitely get those answered. Thank you again to the viewer that suggested this video. And if you have suggestions for videos that you would like to see from me throughout the growing season or now as we're all planting, comment down below as well, because I am always open to those ideas. While they always don't work, I love getting new ideas. So I'm going to cut that video off here. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more this growing season, and we will see you soon.